KCC311 for week number 3's discussion board. We're going to look back at the graphics from week 2. Here's an example of my graphic. And I'll break down my graphic for you, kind of giving you an idea of what I'm looking for from your discussion board posts on week 3. So first of all, one thing that I want to make sure that everybody looks for clearly is, can you tell what the question is? What is the person analyzing this data? Do they have a question? Is it a good question? Does it set the stage? Does it bring you into the problem? The next thing is, and I didn't talk about this before, so don't think of this as a necessary thing, but if somebody has it, I think it's good to acknowledge, hey, I think it makes a difference, is does the student have something that gives a little bit of style to a graphic? If you don't have it, trust me, we haven't discussed it in detail. We'll get there. But that's something to acknowledge in the graphics. Here's sort of the main event for the week 2 graphics is there a graph? Does that graph labeled clearly? Can you tell what the categories are? What am I measuring here? Dirty water versus clean water. If you can see those sort of things, make sure you can make sure that should stand out in your graph. That should be something that your attention is drawn to clearly. This is important as well. Whatever your data is, make sure you're giving a little feedback about what the data is, where it comes from. Because if you just say, hey, here's a graph, give me some context. Where did it come from? That's very important. Describe that. What does that graph exactly mean? What is clean? What is dirty water? So I gave a quick description here. And then this is also another important thing. Do you see a connection? Like, yeah, I got a question up top about the clean water and weather, but does this graph help me kind of move towards that question? That connection is another important thing. So these are the different things that I was thinking about when I made my graphic. And now you're going to have a chance to go through all the graphics from our class. And yeah, we got a lot of different graphics, different styles. And you're going to have a chance to reflect on that as well. And here's the thing from the week 2 discussion board. I said, hey, reflect on student work, but I had all these different threads, and it got confusing, and a couple of you mentioned that. So in this discussion board, there'll be one thread, so hopefully all the feedback about the graphics, it'll be more like a conversation as opposed to 10 different conversations. And the other thing is the timeline is slightly different. I'm saying, hey, break it down 3 different ways, but I'm also looking for you to analyze those things like I had mentioned before on the first slide, and I'm also looking for you towards the end is to reflect on your own work, or think about it in terms of your takeaways. Say, wow, yeah, I saw this graphic, I saw that one. It makes me think that when I'm going to do this, I want to do X, Y, and Z in my next graphic. When you're giving feedback to students, make sure you're talking about yes and. Don't be like, don't do this is bad, or I don't like this. Yes, that's good, and yeah, I see what you're going for, and here's another way to frame that. Think about that in terms of positive ways to build on people's first efforts. Let's not be saying, no, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. So I've got some points for you to analyze. I've got some takeaways that you want to look for through the week 3 discussion board. Get some posts up there. Start that conversation. I'm going to chime in. I'm going to echo my feedback as well, and hopefully we can get a conversation about what a good graphic means.